Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There seems to be some confusion over this, electrifying matchup between Jaron Boots Ennis and VERGIL ORTIZ. Now, Ennis, of course, 33 wins, 29 KOs, no draws, no defeats. Ortiz holds the WBC interim super welterweight belt. Jaron's at 147. Ortiz is at 154. Ortiz is 22 wins with 21 KOs, no draws, no defeats. An absolutely mouth-watering clash that was proposed for the undercard, maybe even the chief support of the Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker Riyadh season event. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion here. And if I was a big conspiracy theorist, I might suggest that perhaps Ennis and his promoter Eddie Hearn are not singing from the same hymn sheet or not quite attuned to each other. But Ortiz said via Twitter or X, whatever that is called, I've always said I'll fight anybody and I remain true to my word. Every single person I've been offered to fight, I've said yes. It takes two to tango in boxing. So if I'm not in the ring fighting someone, no, it's not my fault. Time for some of you guys to stop saying I'm ducking and don't want to fight, because that's not the case. That's not the case this time and never was, 100%. Okay, so Ortiz is very sort of bullish in what he's saying. Ennis, for his part, said, I've seen rumours on social media, just like you all did, as far as the fight with me and Virgil. I was unaware that alleged negotiations were being made on my end. From here on out, if it didn't come from me, and I don't believe it will. In other words, it's not coming from me. Yeah, that's what Ennis is saying. I will address, this is the key point, I will address if I'm staying at 47 or moving up to 54 at a later date and time. Now, Eddie Hearn has said that fight's not necessarily dead. Not completely dead, he said. But Jaron's got to make a fast decision about what weight he's going to give. And if he'll vacate the belt, and I'm not sure he's going to do that, we'll have to see what happens. Okay, so this is where the problem is. Is Jaron Ennis going to stay at 147 and defend his IBF belt and hopefully, unify at welter, or is he going to move to 154? Hearn also went on to say, we received an offer about 3 days ago for a fight at 147. We took it back to Jaron. Obviously, that's fine with us. And we went back to them and said, yes, we'll accept. But are you sure this is at 47? They went away and they came back and they said, no, we've spoken to Golden Boy. Sorry, it'd be at 154. You've got to vacate your title. So that's Golden Boy saying that to Ennis. Vacate your IBF welterweight title, come up to 54 and fight us. Okay? And that's a big decision, as Hearn points out, for Ennis. Do I want to give up my world title? Do I want to fight at 54? Maybe pick up Ortiz's belt? It's a big decision, big decision. And Hearn said, on Thanksgiving, we were asked to make a decision. And the answer from Ennis was, I just don't know. I'm not ready to make a decision if I'm going to vacate my belt. So we've got time to make a decision, but maybe he does. But if it's to make a decision tonight or tomorrow, I'm not sure he will. If he moves to 54, he'll 100% fight VERGIL ORTIZ. If he doesn't, he'll unify at 147, and that's over to him. Okay? Hearn also said, there haven't been any negotiations. All we did was receive an offer about 3 days ago. So this would have been, Wednesday, Thursday. We went back, we checked, and they told us it was at 54, as has already been mentioned. We said, okay, we've got to talk as a team to decide if we're going to 54, but what we're not going to do is see him go to 54 and not fight VERGIL ORTIZ. So what Hearn is saying there is Jaron will only move to 54 if it's for the VERGIL ORTIZ Jr. fight. Otherwise, he's staying at 47 to unify his belts. Now, Ennis hasn't looked particularly great in his last two fights. He is an immense talent. I don't think there's always hype involved, but I think he's the genuine article, and so is VERGIL ORTIZ. But they've both shown some, I wouldn't say frailties, but some flaws. They can both be clipped, and I still think it's a fantastic matchup, and I hope it happens. I don't really care whether it's at 47 or 54. I guess it'd have to be at 54 if Virgil's got that belt and he ain't coming down to 147 again. he did seem to struggle at 47. He had a few injuries as well, I think, but this is a great fight, which I desperately want to see. And you look at that Riyadh card and you think, one of the ones that did shoot out, although it's a great card, the one that's headlined by Dubois and Parker, that was the one where you're thinking 2 undefeated killers. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be an explosion. Be a shame if it doesn't happen. The card is on February the 22nd next year, by the way, so there was a little bit of time for them to come to an agreement. But we're in December now, aren't we? So I'm talking less than 3 months now, and then you got Christmas, which interrupts everything. But what do you think? There isn't really much to say, is there? It's because none of us really know. None of us have any kind of insight into what goes on behind the scenes. But let me ask you a question, though. Who do you think wins if they fight at 54? And who do you think wins if they fight at 47? Do you think weight is a factor where Ennis is concerned? I don't think he'd deny that it is, but how much of a factor? How much of a factor do you think the weight was in his performances with Karen Chukadzian and who was it before that? It was David Evanesian. He didn't look great in those 2 fights. But then, to be honest, Ortiz Jr. hasn't always looked great himself. So let me know what you think. If you've got any opinions, leave them below. And of course, thank you for your time as always. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Takes a second, costs you nothing. And also hit the like button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Hope you had a good weekend, and bye for now.